No, very good. Same as every day. You okay with the connection? Yeah, you can
I
see
am
me.
okay. Yes, I can
And
see you. Yes.
yes, all is good. Everybody's locked down. I'm in Barcelona, so
Yes.
Spain is one of the heaviest affected country in terms of coronavirus. But we're trying to help the health system and stay at homes, wear masks outside, and limit the numbers when we go out to the minimum. We have
Yeah.
a little dog, so we have to go out with the little dog, and then only
Yes.
to the grocery. And that's life. I don't really know what day of the week is today because it just dissolves. Every day seems to be the same. But from the business perspective, we're trying to be there for anyone that we could help with. You know that our company is dealing with revenue management solutions for hoteliers. Obviously, that subject does not exist anymore at this moment, but we understand that there's a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty on the market with the hoteliers to
Yeah.
what's going to happen after hotels, countries, and hotels will reopen. So we're there for if there's any questions from our customers, if there's any questions not from our customers, anyone. We are happy to help, and we do some free consulting, or we it's not really a consulting, it's like more of a help or advice or our perspective, because at the moment it's really hard to say you can suggest people what to do, because nobody knows how is it going to happen. We can only predict and form different scenarios and prepare for different scenarios together with people who require help. That's what
Yeah.
we so that's what we are at the moment, and we're watching statistics, and we're kind of waiting for that peak to become the peak, and then to see it start falling down.
So, then how were things shaping up before the outbreak happened?
Yes. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah. So I just asked that how were things looking before the COVID outbreak happened?
From our perspective,
From
I
a
mean,
business
everybody was
perspective,
very
yes.
everything was looking very optimistic. Our technology was very innovative, so we were looking like trying to put the message across that it's time for revenue management to change. That the customer part is very important. It's more important actually than the statistical data that that the traditional revenue management is dealing with, and then the coronavirus came in, and what it made is none of the statistical or historical data will be applicable anymore in revenue management. So we've been forced to come into the situation where revenue management will have to take a completely different shape. And as we were innovative before and we had our theories, now it's kind of like hitting us back, saying, "Oh, this theories has actually speeded up. It's no longer a theory about the future. It's actually going to happen now, and it's not only for us but for everybody." So before the coronavirus, everything was looking really positive. We were just opening before the high seasons in Europe. We have a lot of customers in the Mediterranean area, a lot of resort hotels, a lot of business hotels. They were all like doing the preparations for the high season. The first symptom that we realized it's going to be serious was the cancellation of the global mobile conference in Barcelona,
Yeah.
and a lot of hotels we were looking at. Uh, their availabilities and their occupancies was really the highest. The average prices were like 3, 4 digits even, and then suddenly it got cancelled, and then within a couple of days everything just dropped down, and then the other news came in, and it started to be even worse and worse. So that's the situation. But we kind of like we like to look to the things that we're going to go forward to see what's going to happen next. And I think this is a good approach because we every day reading the statistics, and people are more familiar with how many death rates are in each country
Yeah.
versus what the normal life should be. And when you focus on bad things, it kind of creates a really pretty bad mood. So we're really
Yeah.
open. We're really looking into what can happen in the future. The scenarios are tragic. Those scenarios can be positive. We don't really know, but it's best to prepare for both of them, and we're going to make it. I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and in fact, hospitality sector is one of the worst hit sectors if we probably look at tourism industry on at large. Aviation and hospitality would certainly be two of the those sectors which bore the maximum amount of hit. So, just getting back to how
Exactly.
are you guys working currently? What's the work scenario like? You said that you'll be working on some new ideas and look forward to the future. So, are you working from home? Are some employees on leave? How's the work structure currently?
No, we are very lucky to be in the company culture, to have the company culture where people are the main asset of the company, and we have been very preservative in terms of investments and cost spendings anyway. So we have taken a very caution approach. We are not putting people away. We have all taken some preservative cost saving measures to the maximum. But the plan is that we're going to go through that period of time, and we're going to recover as soon as things will start picking up. So everybody's in the company, everybody's locked down in their houses. We've got colleagues in Manchester, in Athens, in Barcelona, in Rome, and in some few other cities. We all have, online and internet helps communicate,
Right.
and we focus on the things that we can focus. So apart from some small help to our customers and people that we know in our social network, we focus on the product, and we focus on how we're going to pick up when the recovery comes.
Of course. So, just coming back to the kind of work that you do, how important do you think is utilizing this time for building on new client relationships and providing them the hope that we have solutions and it's going to be okay in some time? Or is that a very tricky
Um,
territory right
yeah,
now?
it's very sensible thing because obviously, so there are two things. One is the human thing, and one is the business thing, and they kind of like overlapping. You are a human according to what business you have, because obviously, if the business is gone, you become a completely different human with different priorities and needs and worries. So on one hand side, people try to be helpful to each other and supportive, but on the other hand, of course, to be honest, everybody's thinking about their own business. From the
Certainly.
hotelier's perspective, it is very difficult situation, and we have within our founders, we have a person who is the owner of a hotel in Rome, and he had to close, and he had to tell all his staff, he had to control all his cash flow. So we know on real life example how hoteliers can feel, and and if I ask him what's the important thing for you, what would you like to have some help from the companies like ours, he says, don't really bother, Kris. For me, the most important question is when I am going to open and what things I should take into consideration before that opening, because obviously everybody will reopen. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be a radical message like the one for lockdown. So you have to start thinking when is the best time for you to open, because when you open, you start increasing your costs. But we don't know how customers will start coming in. Every country will be reopening in different times. So the
Yeah.
international traffic in the beginning will be dead. The business traffic will change completely because we all deal with each other online much better than ever before. The tourism maybe will start picking up, but on a completely different basis. People will be looking for safer places, less crowded places. So all these things come together, make us realize that talking about an acquisition of new customers now is not a really good idea, although we would
Of course.
badly want to have as many customers as possible. So yeah, we have to balance somehow. At the moment, we are not promoting, we are not trying to, give the statistics online to say sign up here, but send us an email and we'll call you back, etc. We try not to do these things. We try to be sensible, but obviously, when things start picking up, all hotels will need some sort of revenue management support better than ever before, because 80% of hotels, they of all the hotels, they use some manual tools for revenue management. So
Yeah.
20% have technology, all the others use Excel, and that Excel is based on historical data. So
Yeah.
when they can figure out the trends, and according to trends, they create forecasts, and from forecasts they apply different prices. But that's all going to be gone, because you cannot. First, you don't have historical data. We have a gap, and second of all, you can't draw out forecasts based on trends that are based on no data. So a lot of hotels will need support and help from technology, and we will be there for them. But it's not, I think, the time to discuss sales with the hotels.
Of course, certainly. So, just coming back to the tourism industry, how long do you think it is going to take for things to, go back to normal? Because probably the normal we are going to face right now after the COVID pandemic is over is not going to be the same as a normal situation before. So, how long do you
Yes.
think it's going to take on a global scale to cope up with the situation?
Well, yes, you're right. It's going to be different. It's not going to recover to what it was. It's going to be different. But I really don't like to answer that kind of question, because, to be honest, nobody knows. We can look at statistically what happened after the economic crisis in 2008, what happened after September 11, what happened after
Yeah.
volcano, what happened after all these things, and people are, dropping these dates. It will take 3 years, it will take 4 years, it's as bad as never before, etc. But we don't really need to
Yeah.
that kind of information. I look at myself, and I think I am the best measure. I know that the more we know about the virus, the more confident we will become, and less fearful. So
Yeah.
if more people will go through the virus, and a lot of people, 90% of people in Spain go through mild symptoms. Once you over a virus, you're immune to it. So I think, to be honest, from my perspective, whether I go through the virus or not, and in whatever time, once I'm there, once I feel safe, I am actually going to start traveling. It cannot stop
Yeah.
me. I would not be worried about the risk of getting any other sickness. I think I will be wearing
Yeah.
mask much more on the plane, at the airports, etc. But it will not stop me traveling. And I think the new
Yeah.
situation will be a good opportunity for touring business. Maybe some players will go down, some will go up, and we see already different actions on the stock exchange, with companies buying out some other companies. So the shift in the hotel industry will be heavy. The airline industry, if it recovers, will be also a little bit different, but it will create a lot of opportunities. Based on myself, I'm going to recover very quickly from a leisure perspective and from business perspective, but I will have some additional habits that I didn't have before, and that's it. I don't really want to speculate whether it's going to be 4 years and 5 years, because people can get depressed from information like that.
Yeah, yeah, and of course it's relative. I mean, certain economies are going to recover a little faster compared to others. So, but yeah, like you mentioned, it's really a very difficult question to answer. So, just coming to the last part of the interview, I would like to know what would you have to say to different businesses like yours and how they can ride out the storm.
How can they go through the storm? Well, as I've mentioned, we need to take into consideration a lot of preservations, a lot of actions that will allow you to ensure that your company can exist for the next couple of months, up to even 12 months. And this is the most important thing, because the situation is bad enough that if you had an investment, we are in the technology business, so there's a lot of investments around, a lot of startup companies, but also a lot of existing wealthy companies. And startup companies, when they have an investment, the investment is based on the growth of sales. So if there's no growth of sales, there is a problem, because there is a cost base, and they need to prove something. And it doesn't really mean that all the money is already in the bank for them to spend and survive. The money is there to grow sales. So that's a very tricky situation, and they should have a good relationship with the investors to decide how the company can go through that moment, and probably building up recovery, sales, and marketing plans already. The bigger companies have also got a problem, because if the revenue is not there, you have a big cost base.
Yeah.
So you have to maintain that. And this is where, in some countries, you can seek for government help. And as I see what's happening in Spain, in France, UK, and US, the governments are really helpful. But as I am from East Europe, I can see what the governments are doing there, and not all the countries are ready enough to support private business
Yeah.
as the Western countries. And I'm sure there's a lot of other countries that will not get any support at all. So the most important thing is to understand that it's not something that's going to go away in 2 weeks when the lockdown is off. It's going to have consequences for the next couple of months, and therefore you should preserve your cost spendings to the maximum for the next couple of months. If you can do that, I'm sure many companies will recover.
So the last question for the day, you mentioned that once all of this is over, you would like to start traveling again. So any message that you would like to give out to all those travelers who are probably right now stuck at home and thinking, oh my God, my plans have been cancelled and I cannot travel the same way again. So any
Well,
message
there's
for the
a
travelers?
there's a social campaign saying don't cancel, postpone, and I think it's a good campaign. But I don't think traveling is really a problem. The problem is fear that people have,
Yeah.
because they don't know what the virus can do and how to live with the virus, how to survive the virus. So I would say don't worry about your traveling. It's going to be actually even better once we will get the problem with the virus solved. The more you read about scientific information about the virus, the more confident you become about it, and therefore the more positive about your future travel you're going to be.
So thank you so much, Chris. So we will have the video edited and up on our channel. I'm going to share it with you before we do that so you can take a look at it. And thank you
Okay,
so
cool.
much for being with us here. And I sincerely hope that people watching you get to learn from you and, get to be hopeful and look forward to a better tomorrow. I mean, all of us are in this together and together we should figure out the
Exactly.
storm.
Exactly. Let's
Thank you
stick
so much,
together.
Chris.
If there's anyone out there that would like to reach me, I'm on social, LinkedIn, etc. I'll be happy to have
Sure.
further discussions. Thank you very much for your time,
That's
Laboni.
great. I'll reach out to you. Bye bye,
Thank
Chris.
you. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.
Bye.